All right, and it's a podcast. So we're going to start with the gaming section. The first news article that we have, the biggest headline, is Sony bouncing back and buying Bungie, creators of Halo, for just under $4 billion. So it is not quite an Activision deal, but it is something. But what is it exactly? Any thoughts?
Completely stick it to Microsoft. All that is.
100%. Yep.
So you think could we see Halo on PlayStation at any point? Would that ever in a million years happen?
They don't have the rights, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
they don't have
Bungie.
Halo.
So Microsoft has the rights, even though Bungie's the creator. Microsoft owns the rights, so probably not. It'd be a cool thought.
343 now, right? Not Bungie
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, even though they originally created Halo. So it was a $3.6 billion deal versus the $70 or $70 billion deal is 5%. So it was a 5% in comparison to what Activision was. And with that deal, they get Destiny 2. And that's about it, really. Apparently, Bungie's working on a new IP, which is going to be coming sometime in the next year or two. But other than that, it's sort of just their way of, I guess, getting one of those continuous online shooters, which, if they want to sort of compete, I think is really smart. Because a lot of people still play Destiny 2. I know we played a little bit of Destiny. Did any of you guys play Destiny 2 or
Nope.
No, sir.
no?
I'm not gonna fall for that again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Destiny.
very briefly played it, but it lost my interest pretty quick.
Yeah. Destiny 1, it was a lot of fun, but it was just sort of. I lost interest very quickly, I guess. I'm not sure why.
What I don't understand about this deal is, surely these corporations hear about it. Like, I'm sure Microsoft knew that something was going on with Bungie and Sony, right?
I mean, in the industry, I'm sure there's people who are talking to each other. And
Sure. So, like, if Microsoft is just trying to buy up as many things as they can, why wouldn't they have gone after Bungie? Like, they clearly had the money.
Do you think there's like bad blood between them?
could
Could
be.
be.
I don't remember what caused Bungie to leave. Like, I don't remember.
Right? How long ago was
remember
that they separated?
It was before
It was after
2013.
Halo ODST, right? Because
It was-
343 started with Halo 4, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Yes,
So it was after
yeah.
Reach, actually. And
Oh,
Reach was 2011, and Halo 4 was 2014. I want to say, maybe 2013. So it's been almost 10 years. Getting there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Well, I don't know.
Maybe it's bad blood, but if you're now an independent video game studio, I mean, now is like the best time to be one of these independent game studios while they're duking it out and buying all these,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your value's never been higher than it is right now.
yeah, your stock is way up. If you're like Capcom, or if you're, I don't know if there are any sort of mid-level studios that are still making games. I don't know who makes like the Dark Souls series, but I think that would be a great acquisition for whoever could get it. I think Dark Souls is like a huge fan base. That's
Mm-hmm.
How long has it been since Dark Souls 3 came out?
3 was, yeah.
Like, has there been has there been or will there be a follow up to that? What
So
would be the incentive for Sony to buy that? Other than, well, I feel like sales on Dark Souls is like gone.
yeah, I don't know. I know there's like tons of spiritual successors, like Sekiro was one.
I mean, there's
Demon's
Elden
Souls,
Ring.
and now
Elden Ring.
yeah, Elden Ring is the new one.
Yeah, it's huge. It's gonna be huge.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, there doesn't even have to be, for those big franchises, there doesn't even have to be a game currently in the works. It's like just the promise of one gets people excited because there's so
I
many
mean,
fans.
How big
Yeah.
was everybody excited for, the Bethesda purchase? And when's the last? I mean, Fallout 4, sure. was like 2016. But that's still, 7 years ago at this point. 6 years ago.
Fallout 76. Don't forget about that.
That was not Bethesda, I don't think.
76? I'm not sure. But
Oh, well, whoever made it, I wasted my money on that game.
Oh,
I think everybody, for the most part, feels the same way.
I didn't buy it. I was smart.
Okay. So we were talking last week about, we had a small discussion about Sony versus Sega, and sort of like Sony potentially going out of business if Microsoft wants to put Sony out of business. It would have to be get the PS5 off the market, or whatever the PS6 is, to just make it insignificant. So I was looking at the Sega sales. So Sega was the main competitor for Nintendo when it was sort of just the two consoles back in like the 80s and 90s, early 2000s. So the original Nintendo came out in 1985 and sold 62 million units worldwide. So 62 million. It would go on to be the Super Nintendo, which sold less. It sold 50 million copies worldwide. The Genesis, which was the main competitor to the Super Nintendo, sold 30 million units worldwide. So it wasn't even, 60%. And the Genesis's main selling point at the time was it came out right before the Super Nintendo. So games looked fantastic on it compared to the original Nintendo. They had, basically their whole ad campaign was Genesis is just a step above Nintendo, and then Nintendo would come back with a Super Nintendo and just basically reclaim everything that they lost. So Sega would go on, even though I look back and it seems like it was sort of a battle between them, but if you look at numbers and units sold, it really doesn't look very close at all. So 50 million for the Super Nintendo, 30 million for the Genesis. The next generation, Sega would only sell 10 million, less than that of their console, and the Nintendo 64 sold 33 million. So
Wow.
Nintendo is still going down, but they Sega went way down. And the Nintendo would actually go down again with the GameCube, down to 21.74 million. And then after that was the Wii, which sold like hotcakes, sold 101 million units.
wow.
To compare that to Sony, the PlayStation 1, do you guys want to guess how many units it sold?
I don't
Ballpark.
even have
Almost-
any idea where to guess.
It was before the PS2. It was their first foray into the console market in the mid to late 90s, to compete with sort of the Nintendo 64 and I guess
And
the Dreamcast.
16 million.
how many did Nintendo 64? How many were sold on that?
The
30?
Nintendo 64 sold just under 33 million.
Bill, you said 16?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 12 and a half.
I don't know. I feel like it probably did pretty good. So I'm gonna say we'll go with 30.
The PS1 sold 102 million units.
What?
Yeah,
Jeez.
the first. And the PS2, which I don't know if you guys know, the best-selling console of all time, sold 158 million units.
Wow.
Wow.
What was the original Xbox?
So original Xbox would be competing with PS2. It's the same generation.
It probably got pooped on.
Xbox sold 24 million units. So 24
Wow.
million to 158. The next generation, which was, in my opinion, the Xbox 360's best generation of Xbox, sold 84 million units. PS3 had 87.4 million. So
Dang.
right at each other's necks. PlayStation with a slight edge. And then PS4 versus Xbox One. Anybody want to guess?
PS4 crushed them.
Yeah.
Xbox One sold 51 million units. PS4 115 million. So more than doubled. And with the current consoles. Xbox One S and X series versus the PS5. Xbox One is sitting at 12 million and PS5 is at 13.4 million. And a lot of that is just due to, lack of supply chain issues. So, and there's no telling if the consoles were readily available, how many there would be. I would like to point out that the Nintendo Switch surpassed the Wii and is Nintendo's best-selling home console with 103 million units sold.
Wow. Nice.
So it did more than the Xbox One. It was close to the PS4, and if they continue, supporting it, it could pass the PS4. Probably won't pass the PS3.
That makes sense to me. Like, if I were to choose between a Switch and a Wii, I'm 100% choosing a Switch.
Yeah.
I don't really get the appeal of a Wii.
Yeah. The Wii was sort of like a...
What about the Wii U? What about that thing? How did that
Wii
thing?
That
U?
thing
Okay.
did not do well.
It is Nintendo's... as far as, since the Nintendo original, its worst-selling console, 13.56 million units.
Still better than the current gen.
Still better than the current gen.
Wow.
So there are more Wii U's in the world than PS5s and Xbox One X's. Which is, unfortunate. But
Every time
So
I hear
sad.
the name Wii U, I just think of a fire truck going down the street.
solid. Well, it was an emergency for Nintendo. Uh,
How long before they released the Switch? The Switch was after the Wii U, right?
so it went Wii into Wii U into Switch. And I think the Wii U had a pretty short lifespan. I want to say it
Yeah,
was
it really
5, maybe 6 years. And
No way.
Yeah, I can check. So
Yeah.
The thing that I'm upset about is there are some games for the Wii U that came out that are sort of just trapped on that console. Like there was a re-release of the Zelda Wind Waker that came out for the Wii U because nobody bought a Wii U. Is sort of just trapped in that ecosystem.
Yeah. 5 years. Wow.
Yeah, I remember seeing all these games coming out for the Wii U, and I was like, dang, I wish I could play that, because I just had a Wii, and I was like, I'm not buying a Wii U.
Okay, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't honestly know what the Wii U even is. Isn't that funky one with the huge pad?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got the huge pad, and it was not super intuitive, and it was like basically a Switch before the Switch.
Did you ever own one?
No, I never owned one. I wanted to, but it was in that span where I didn't have a job, so I didn't have any money, so I couldn't buy it, and I didn't want to ask my mom to spend $300 on a Wii U because what a piece of garbage that thing was, for the 2 games I wanted to play for it. But
Yeah, it was like a good idea that just the design just let it down completely.
yeah, not great marketing and just not great execution by Nintendo. Not a lot of great games either. There were some good ones, but for the most part, there weren't any life-changing titles on that system. So all that combined to make it the worst-selling console for Nintendo of all time, excluding before the Nintendo.
And Matthew might have to get in on this, but how did the DS do? Because that was Matthew's jam.
DS was a classic. Matthew, do you want to guess how many units the DS sold?
Much more than the Wii U, that's for sure.
You'd be correct by a factor of more than 10.
Yeah,
I was
I
gonna
mean,
say-
it'd be pretty far up there because pretty much everyone
Mhm.
had a DS.
Yeah, so the DS sold 154 million units. And that's not including the 3DS. So that's like
Wow.
DS, DSi, DS Lite, DS XL. There was a whole slew of variations
So that
on
counts all of them?
it. That
in
counts
that
all
number?
of them. Yeah,
Okay, because I was gonna say that I feel like there were so many different DS variations that I lost count.
there were. But they all played the same games. There's never any hardware upgrades other than screen size and clarity and all that stuff. And, whatever else came with it, buttons and speakers and all that. It was just so same line, but it was Nintendo's best-selling console of all time, if you're including mobiles, obviously. The Game Boy and Game Boy Color sold 118 million. That's their number 2. So Switch is their number 3. And the Switch is doing something kind of smart where it's sort of like the mobile option too now for them. Because it's, dockable, but you can also take it out and play it on the go. Which is, sort of alienates their mobile market.
We'll say, I think Nintendo's the most creative with console design.
Yeah. I mean, they took a huge risk with the Wii and that controller. I mean, you guys have held the controller, right? If you're just playing a regular game, it's a piece of garbage. Like, it really sucks. There's 2 buttons on it.
It's
Three.
definitely
the-
less than ideal.
What
Yeah.
was the name of the PlayStation copy of that?
Oh, it's a Vita.
No,
no.
of the
PlayStation
Wii.
Portable?
They had
The
like the
PSP?
Wii of like the motion.
Yeah.
PlayStation had
Oh,
like a motion
PlayStation
stick.
Move, right?
Move?
Yeah.
Is that what
Was it
called?
Move?
Yeah, like that. It was the stick.
It had
with
like
the
a weird bulb
ball
on
on.
Like
Yeah.
the weird blue
The
orbs.
light up ball.
Yeah. it. Like, what was that?
That was a complete
That was their version
abomination.
of the Kinect. Yeah.
I think it was the PlayStation Move.
PlayStation Move versus Xbox Kinect. So, there's a weird blue ball at the end of. I'll tell you what, I've never seen one of those in real life.
Me either.
I don't know how many they sold, but it might as well be a fairy tale for me because I've never seen one.
It's the first console that would give you blue balls.
Oh no.
Nice. Not the first for some. I'm sure people have blue balls for some consoles before then. So that's it. For the future of Sony, I don't know. It looks like they've got a very strong hold in the home console market. So I think it would have to be a transition away from home consoles that would limit them as far as being a big player in the gaming industry in like 10 years. But
Which I mean, that's the way things are going, though, right?
yeah.
Like
I could see
cloud
that.
gaming, just being able to game on your phone. Like,
Do you ever see though, like, it completely getting away from having a console? in your
Yes.
home? You do?
I think
Yeah.
so.
I don't know. I mean, I just have a hard time seeing that. Like, I just feel like people love to have that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then again, it's what we've been used to for a while, so.
So
I'm
do
sure
you
it's
ever
just
think
like-
that like computers will be obsolete?
Nope. Gaming on computers? Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's a top tier.
Yeah. I mean, the argument now for consoles is like they have all the power of like a $1,200 gaming PC in a $500. You can just set it down, plug it in, box.
Mhm.
But on the flip side, you can't do all the things that you can do on a computer. You don't have access to Steam or
There's definitely a cap.
yes.
That's why I think the Steam Deck is going to be such an interesting thing. Like,
I completely agree. Yeah. I'm really excited about it.
Steam
did y'all
Deck.
see this?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Did y'all see this comparison that I posted?
No.
I saw
size-
that earlier. And,
Isn't that
yeah.
insane?
It's crazy.
So
I just didn't realize it was that big.
Twice the size of a Game Boy Advance.
Mhm.
I like how they put a banana on that last one. Just so you know.
Yeah, I mean, so when I'm playing my Switch, I use my Switch a lot. There are times where I feel like, this is a little, if I'm laying in bed, I'm like, this is a little bulky, my hands are getting tired. I wish I could just, put this down for a second and get back. So I can't imagine that Steam Deck. I mean, it looks like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
It looks hilarious next to the Game Boys. It's
Yes.
just I cannot believe how small that other stuff looks. So the Switch is I feel like it's a solid middle ground between, big enough screen to where I can play like a AAA game and see what's going on and everything looks good, but it's also not too huge to the point of I'm holding a gigantic brick in front of my face, which is what I'm sort of looking at this and worrying about.
Yeah, but surely they do testing and whatnot. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I don't know. Have you ever held a PlayStation controller?
some
I
people
see.
swear by it, dude.
Some people do swear by it.
I don't
I
get it.
actually have never held a PlayStation 4 or 5 controller.
Well, they
It
haven't.
didn't change much in the 3, did it? Like the
No,
5 added the
no.
little touchpad thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same.
So what's the
okay.
accessibility of the Steam Deck? Like, is it readily available?
It comes out this month.
Yeah, I think you can pre-order it now, and you
All
get
I
it
know
when it comes out.
is
I had to
got
get on
myself
a
a nice
list.
little DraftKings thing I could sell for $400.
Did you not
Hmm.
pre-order one? Thought you did.
I signed up for it. I thought it was a lottery.
No,
No,
it's a
it's-
queue.
Yeah, it's in order of when you were placed.
Oh, how do I know where I'm at for that?
You would look at it on Steam. You can just
Okay.
search Steam Deck and it'll
Huh,
show you when it is. Mine should be here Q2, so that would be a couple
interesting.
months. I think it's gonna be cool.
The Steam Deck definitely it is cool. It's just the fact that you get sort of like a different market of games. I think.
Are you all
is
gonna
really cool.
Are you all gonna buy them? Possibly for resale?
I don't. I probably won't. I'm not completely against it. I have my Switch, and there's still a lot of games I want to play for that. So before I got a
Right.
Steam Deck, I was just
Yeah.
Filthy scalpers.
But now, instead of playing a game on my PC on my desk, I can go 10 feet into my living room and play it on my couch.
which I guess that's the selling point, right? A lot of
Does-
people are worried about integration with Steam games because these games are obviously made for computer. Controller support has to be involved. So with most AAA games, controller support is always spot on. But what you lose sometimes is with a lot of retro games, which they have obviously a ton of on Steam, and then like some of the lower end like indie games don't have very good controller support. So that's a thing that people are wary of before they're going out and buying this. It's not a complete replacement for Steam.
They do
And the
have a
fact-
dock. As far as I know, they have a dock that has USB ports for keyboard and mouse. I think.
Right.
Yeah,
But
you have to buy it separately.
yes, but
Sure.
it is also like, so now you've got a dock for your Steam Deck where you're using your mouse and keyboard, which is just a computer.
Yeah. So then, why at that point would you not just
Yeah.
play on your computer?
Just get a computer.
Well,
that's
I mean, the
that's-
only reason I could really think of is, like Billy said, I know he's kidding, but putting it on your TV, like
Oh,
I
and then
could
just
play
go
with.
wireless.
You could play co-op. Yeah, you could play co-op.
Yeah.
And,
I was
Just-
kidding, but you could also bring it on trips and stuff like that too.
Yep.
Like it's very
Nah,
portable.
I'd bring that bad boy on a plane, though. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know. I guess a lot of games
Uh,
though are internet dependent.
I don't know how the internet would be involved with that, but
I don't know how the TSA would look at that huge computer and be like,
Nah, see, there's no issues there. I got ins with the TSA. Don't worry about that.
okay, as long as you have your ins.
I think if I had that, I'd be a lot more willing to play solo games. Like,
Yeah, that's
I agree.
my thinking.
because if I'm sitting down at my computer, I'm going to try to play with you guys. But if I'm just laying there in bed,
Yeah.
I'd play something solo.
Yeah, play
when
some
I
Dragon Age.
play
Yeah.
some Witcher 3.
Some
we all
Witcher
know why.
3.
Yeah.
Good game. Good game.
I'm excited. We'll see.
So you're actually getting
Playing
yours,
some
though.
Hades on that, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I got 2, so I'll probably flip one and get one for free.
Not bad.
Wait a second.
Which
how'd you get
which
two?
size did you sign up for?
I have the 500 gig one, and then I have the 250. I'm gonna keep the 250 and then flip this
Nice.
500.
That's another issue. Is there a way to expand the space on it?
Yep.
Like the base
I
one?
think so.
Yeah,
Micro
I
SD
think,
cards.
Yeah.
it's pretty upgradable. Steam was like pretty upfront about wanting it to be as user friendly as possible. So it's like the opposite of Nintendo, where Nintendo is very against the user. They want all of their hardware to be as, unmesswithable as possible, I guess.
Very Apple-esque.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the same vein as Apple, very much so.
Yeah.
But Steam is up front, they wanted. I think you can upgrade RAM if you want as well.
Oh.
Stuff like that. So it's very cool. You guys want to talk about movies? Does anybody here watch any video game movies?
I watched the Arcane, the League of Legends
That was good.
TV show that just came out. It was really good.
Arcane was good. So I talked to my friend at work. His name's Grant. He's a good friend of mine. He gave me some pointers on the podcast, and he also sent in a viewer submitted question. So
Oh, jeez. I don't know if we're ready for
Not
this.
to put the pressure on, but here's our first, and we can't let him down. Yes, I'm going to make him listen to this part. So, his question was, could video game-inspired movies be making a resurgence? He says, Uncharted movie this month, Sonic 2 in April, the rumors of The Rock starring in a Call of Duty movie, right after the Microsoft acquisition. He says, if the rumors are true, could this be Microsoft's first major step towards putting more of their newly acquired titles on the big screen in the future?
What a question.
Yeah,
That is
very well thought out
Go
and
on.
very is a great question.
Yeah, very
So-
A lot of
perfect.
layers to it.
So, what do you guys think? So, first of all, could video game inspired movies be making a resurgence? What do you guys think?
Oh, movies or TV shows? Or both? I guess both.
I think we can include both.
Any kind of cinema, yeah.
I think so. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't even know if I'd call it a resurgence so much as like a beginning. I don't feel like there's been much in the past in ways of video games. Like the only one I can really think of is there was that Assassin's Creed movie, which was garbage. But I mean, other than that,
I mean, there've been a
There's
ton.
the World of Warcraft one, right?
Yeah. So I think it all started with there was a Mario Bros. Movie in 1993.
Was there really?
A live action Mario Brothers movie.
Okay,
And
so-
if you haven't heard of
God.
it, it's infamously bad. It got a 28% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a live action Goomba, which if you guys haven't seen, you should look up.
I
because
need to look up pictures of this.
You go ahead. I'm gonna pull it up on my screen too, because it's hilarious. But
Oh dear lord. Getty, it looks like you.
hang on. Let's calm down. I'm trying to
Oh, I
find
have
it.
seen pictures of this from before.
yeah, it's,
Oh my gosh.
I have no idea what they were thinking or what they were doing when they made this movie, but
Wow.
they really did not do a service to the future of video game movies, because I think everybody from that point on just knew they were going to be trashy, sort of cash grabby.
Right.
Um,
So then reining it back in, yes, I absolutely think that there's going to be a push to create video game movies or TV shows, and I don't think that'll be a bad thing as long as they kind of stay true to their origins. Like
Mhm.
The Witcher season 1 came out on Netflix last year, 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Excellent,
Mhm.
and that's because they mostly went directly off of the books. The second season, which just came out, was a deviation from the books. Also good, but you can tell that it's just not the same.
mhm.
So as long as they stay true to what they should be, I think that it'll be a great success.
Does The
But-
Witcher count though? Because
Yeah, that's
well,
off of a book, so I don't know if that one actually counts.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
in
that's
the
fair.
vein of Witcher, a very popular video game, and it now
Yeah.
in a TV show. I mean, more people, I would say, have probably played the video games than read the books. You know.
To be fair, Henry Cavill said he based his voice in the show off of the video game character.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize, Getty.
There you go. It's off of a video game.
There we go.
Are there any
Stand
other
corrected.
Are there any other good examples? I would like to say I liked Forward Unto Dawn a lot, and that was sort of like a mini series. But the Halo 4,
Forward to Dawn. Would that?
the Halo 4 mini series in 2012.
The chick from the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Narnia.
did not really like that,
Narnia.
honestly.
It's pretty good.
I thought it was good. I liked it.
There's a
but
There's
it
another
didn't-
series too with
Hmm.
about Locke, right?
There was Forward
That
Unto
one
Dawn
was
in
terrible.
2012. There was The Fall of Reach in 2015, which I
That
didn't
was good.
watch.
That was very good. I watched that one.
Okay, which one was that one? Fall of Reach?
The animated.
Oh yeah,
very-
that was good.
Very good.
What is the
so-
TV show that Matthew's talking about? Or
It was horrible. It came out with 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. What was that called?
it was on Waypoint, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Good old Halo Waypoint.
Is that what it was called?
No, that's not what it's called.
No, that was like the app.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Nightfall.
Nightfall. That was so bad.
Never watched it.
I was so excited about it. It was just terrible.
Is that the actor that plays? Who is that? I recognize him.
I think it's Luke Cage. Is
Yeah,
that
that's
who it
what I
was?
wanted to say.
Oh, Luke Cage.
Yeah, that's what it
Nice.
is.
It looks interesting, but
No,
See,
it's
I don't
like-
know what the premise of that was off of. Like, having never read the books or watched it.
I think it was basically explaining why you're playing as this weird new Spartan in the Halo
Yeah.
5 game.
I think they're just
Gotcha.
trying to get some hype up for it.
Yeah, and it
And it didn't do well. So, like we're saying, stick to your source material.
But
Video
they
game
don't do
movies should
that.
be fine.
When, I mean, I don't. That's why they've been historically bad, is because they don't, right?
Yep.
yeah, there have been some Tomb Raider movies. There was some Resident Evil movies. All sort of flopped. I think one of the Tomb Raider movie did well. I think the Tomb Raider movie had who plays in the Marvel movies Black Widow? Scarlett Johansson.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson did Laura Croft from Tomb Raider, I believe. That
I don't
movie
think
was
so. Are you talking about the recent Tomb Raider?
The reason.
like 2015 or so.
Nah, it wasn't her.
It wasn't? Okay. Maybe I'm
No,
completely making that
I
up.
don't think so.
No, it wasn't her. But that movie was really good.
And people liked it. This is definitely not Scarlett Johansson.
52% on Rotten Tomatoes,
Yeah.
48 on Metacritic.
So back to Grant's question, what was the second kicker on it?
So the second half of the question, let me pull it up real quick. He said, Uncharted movie this month, Sonic 2 in April, The Rock Call of Duty movie. If the rumors are true, could this be Microsoft's first major step towards putting more of their newly acquired titles on the big screen in the future? Well, we were just talking about the Halo shows, and we've got the new Halo show coming out. So that would be another, not movie, but it would be getting one of their IPs into the mainstream, entertainment industry. So, what do you guys think? It looked good or bad?
The Halo?
Mhm.
I think it looked. Honestly, I think it looked bad.
Yeah, the new trailer's out. I didn't watch it. Matthew, you watched it. What did you think?
It's okay. It seems like a lot of, the same step that a lot of different companies are making, like Riot with their show.
Mhm.
So it seems like it's a pretty popular move, and I would expect to see more of it.
I don't, I mean,
But
I
I
don't,
don't know if it's going to be good. I mean, can't really tell anything much from a trailer.
Yeah, especially
Would
a minute-long one.
tell who the main bad guy is a woman that works for the Covenant or works with the Covenant. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem to follow. Like Eddie was saying, doesn't seem to follow any of their source material.
Yeah, and so this might be a tangent, but I really like Godzilla. But Godzilla movies were made on, like, Godzilla the monster fighting other monsters. That's the whole premise of the movies and why people watch them. So when in America they released Godzilla movies with the main story revolving around people on the ground, as I lose complete interest and I hate the movie. Because it's not like I go to a Godzilla movie to watch Godzilla, not to watch, three a-holes on the ground walking around with their troubles about Godzilla. And it looks like Master Chief is fighting some elites in this trailer. So if they stick with Master Chief and they, I guess, make the main villain somehow interesting, then it could be good. But if it's just, dealing with Marines or, I don't know, it just seems...
Right. As long as they stick to a basic theme of Halo, which is Master
Which
Chief
they
is
are
going to be
not.
your main story, like your main character revolving around some Covenant-related thing, it should be fine. My biggest issue with it was a little nitpicky. It was why change Cortana into a flesh person. Give us all what we want. We want the blue naked hologram.
Oh no. I
Yeah.
think
And
that's why right
Emphasis
there.
on
Kenny.
one word for that.
I mean, but still, fine. Cover her up. I don't care. Why make it a person? That's so stupid.
I just saw it. It looked weird. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I think that.
That was my biggest beef with it.
And then the other thing, which, going back to Halo Infinite as well, like when we played Halo Infinite, one of the first things I noticed was the lack of the traditional Halo theme, right? Like that wasn't there in the loading screens. And there was none of that in this trailer. It was...
You're talking about the soundtrack?
Yeah.
Well, it was a
It
new
was,
score. It was
a remake of Phil Collins song in the trailer.
That
Oh,
is
in
not
the
Halo.
Okay, I see what
Oh.
you're saying now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about Infinite. I was
I
like,
thought
wait
you
a
were talking
second,
about the
what?
infinite loading screen. I'm like, what are
I
your
was
game
saying-
sounds?
I was saying in Halo Infinite, we were initially, I think they brought it back, but I remember us all commenting on where in the world, what is this soundtrack? And
It's
they're
the new soundtrack. It's fine. I've given it a listen to, start to finish.
I think overall, though, I think the fact that they're making a Halo movie will be good as long as it isn't a total flop. In which case, it could end up hurting the franchise a little bit. But I think as long as they do a decent job, then overall it'll be a positive thing for video games in general.
I mean, they've got a lot of great stuff to work with. It's just whether or not they can translate that to a good TV show or movie or whatever.
Yeah.
You
they try
guys-
to do.
Do you guys remember the Halo 3 ODST live action trailer?
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yes.
That was good.
No, I don't. What was that one?
I think so.
Just go back
That's-
if you
that's
haven't
awesome.
seen it or you don't remember it. Go back and watch that. That is what I want. Like, that's the kind of Halo movie I would be interested in.
You want a Band of Brothers type Halo.
from a church.
Exactly, that would be incredible.
I think ODST would make a good movie, honestly.
Yeah, ODST
I-
is really
I-
underrated in like the grand
Game.
scheme of Halo games. I think nobody really talks about it, but I thought it was,
It
well
was
done.
excellent.
I'll admit, when I feel like we were talking about this somewhat recently, and somebody brought up ODST, and I was like, oh, ODST sucks. Like, that's the worst Halo game ever.
Mm.
And I think Will was, like, defending it, and I was like, no, it's not that bad. And then we played a little bit of it, and I will admit, I'll eat my words a little bit on that. It definitely held up a lot better than I remember it. I don't know why, though. I don't know why I remember it being so bad.
It was strange, like the dropping and the sort of like you could do your missions like out of order, right? Wasn't that the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
That they sort of opened up the missions to be non-linear, which
Yeah.
made it
But
weird. But I thought it was still super Halo. You know, there's the same Halo 3 engine, I think, some different weapons and some different areas. But I thought it was
Man,
very cool.
the whole introduction of Firefight,
Firefight is huge.
Yeah, that's
right.
Firefight was a great addition.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I'll give
So
it
then,
that.
so then, what would Halo Infinite taken out? But what is the worst Halo?
What is the worst Halo? I think for me it's Halo 5.
Are we talking about campaign or multiplayer?
For me, both.
I would say for
package?
me, I'd say Halo 4 for me.
Halo 4 is pretty bad.
Halo 4 just was so underwhelming and literally like just felt like a copy and paste, but just with none of the iconic moments or anything new to the table.
Mhm.
Whereas Halo 5 at least
There's a whole
brought-
new alien species.
Well, yeah, but like in terms of gameplay and everything, it,
Yeah.
it really didn't bring much.
That being
sticks
said,
out to me.
Correct.
I
There
choose
was
4 as
Sprint.
well. 4 sucked.
Yeah.
But
Playing
Halo
devil's
5 at
advocate,
least
I
brought
agree.
like new game modes in the multiplayer and stuff, which were kind of cool.
Warzone was fun. I liked
Yeah,
Warzone.
Warzone was what I was
I
primarily.
thought that was
thinking.
5.
That is
Yeah.
Warzone was 5.
That's why I rank 5 above 4.
Yeah, Warzone was fun. I enjoyed it.
Honestly, like, I know it's probably a really unpopular opinion, but Halo 1 was not great.
Yeah.
Yeah, good story though.
I don't know. Yeah, it had an okay story. The missions were playing the same map forward and then playing it backward.
See, that's what I remember from ODST. Is that not true for ODST as well?
I think there was just a lot of backtracking in ODST.
I just remember being like, I've already played this map before. Why am I going through it again but backwards?
Yeah. With the city and when it gets blown up and you're walking backwards through it, collecting your memories and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question though. I think all the Halos were pretty decent at least. I just put 5 below 4 because the campaign was, for me, Halo 5 campaign was unplayable because of the
AI was terrible.
AI. I would die, or I wouldn't die. My AI buddies would die, and I got to go save them. Or
Yes.
I would die in the corner of this map, and I got sniped by some whatever, jackal. Whatever. And I'm down, and I got 3 a-holes all standing next to me that can revive me, but don't. So I have to sit there for 15 seconds in agonizing pain while these guys are just doing whatever, shooting grunts. And that 15 seconds, I could have been already revived, trying to level again from a checkpoint or whatever. I hated it. Halo 4 was at least, I don't know, this Halo formula just, it was sort of, I don't know, meh, but I still liked it better than 5.
So did we actually answer Grant's question
Let me-
overall?
Let me think about it. We got
Well, it was an 18-part question.
There's our two. See, Microsoft's major steps towards putting more of their newly acquired titles on the big screen in the future. I say
Okay, so
maybe.
they're newly acquired. That would be Bethesda and Activision and.
Yeah.
Oh, do they put out a new Warcraft? Like, do they even try?
I think Warcraft would be, like, the lore there is so rich and has so many fans that I think that'd be the best place to start.
But
wasn't
Microsoft's not
bad.
known. Microsoft's not known for making movies, are they? I may be completely wrong, but
I
Do they-
don't think so. I think most of what they've done has been Halo related and all those sort of miniseries and TV shows.
then they have no experience at all. So, with the rumors with The Rock, like this could be their first. I guess they
Well,
have the Halo,
they
right?
did the Assassin's Creed movie, didn't they?
Microsoft? I have no idea. I don't think Microsoft is.
I guess they did they?
Yeah, I don't think Microsoft has done many movies, but maybe I don't know. Maybe this is their first steps. I think it depends on really how this Call of Duty movie does. To be honest.
Well, it's just rumored, right? I was reading an article where, teasing that he'll be starring in a movie adapting a popular video game franchise.
Right, and a lot of people
It-
thought that was Fortnite at first.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people thought it was going to be Fortnite, but I think there have been recent rumors that have come out that are like more substantial that it's going to be a Call of
Okay,
Duty.
then if it's not,
Mhm.
what would he be good in as far as a video game movie?
Gears of War would be great for the
Yeah,
Rock.
that's what I was.
Wow.
That's literally what I was thinking.
I think that's like his
King Kong?
ultimate
Donkey Kong?
I think
When
The
I-
Rock would be a
I-
great Donkey Kong.
I feel like he could do any number of like superhero or video games.
Any sort of like big muscles, guns,
Yeah.
and I think Gears of War is an obvious pick for that. I know
Dude,
Gears of
Gears
War is
would be-
Microsoft, right?
Yeah,
So
that would be interesting.
and it does have a pretty strong fan base, and um, I don't think it's horrible for the big screen. I think all those personalities would be pretty good. I think it would be better than Call of Duty personally, just because Call of Duty doesn't really have any characters. It's sort of
Yeah.
Yeah,
just a
they
there's-
just
gameplay
making
game.
up a story basically, or
Yeah.
just copying a campaign or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be interesting to keep up with.
I think I'd be a lot more interested in a Gears of War movie versus a Call of Duty movie personally, but
Yeah. The only reason they would probably favor of Call of Duty is just because of the number of players and
Mhm.
fans.
number of fans. But
I don't even understand what kind of a Fortnite movie you could possibly make.
I don't know. I was asking my friend.
Would Ninja be the main star, or how does that work?
There is Minecraft has Steve, right? There's a Minecraft Steve. Apparently, there's a Fortnite version of that, and I've been told his name is Jonesy. Let me check it
Well,
out.
be honest, you play. You know Jonesy.
Yeah, come
I-
on.
Jonesy's actually
Hey guys, I think his
plastered
name
all
is-
over my bedroom wall, but,
and tattooed on your arm.
and my lower back. Okay, so Jonesy is a blonde, kind of looks like ninja, I guess, character from Fortnite. He's got a pickaxe. He's wearing a karate gi in one of these pictures. I don't know. I do know Fortnite had the campaign before it became the battle royale, right? Because it was Fortnite. It was a campaign game, and there wasn't a multiplayer. And then the multiplayer was sort of added in, and then became the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, I
Think
did
so.
not know any of that.
Yeah, it was. I don't even know.
Take your word for it.
So it turned into Fortnite basically, but yeah. It had an extra name on there. But,
So you're saying if there were a Fortnite movie, then it would be more along the lines of that?
maybe, and I don't even know how much story the main campaign had. Like I said, Fortnite, not my jam. I played one game and I was down to the last two. Me and some dude on a building he built 90,000 feet in the air. And after that, I lost all interest in the game. So, but I don't know. I think Fortnite obviously is a generational great as far as the number of players go, and I think it would be great for kids. Go see a Fortnite movie. But
It would do so well.
It would.
How does he doesn't fit into that at all? I don't
He-
think
he-
for
I-
Fortnite.
He does goofy movies, doesn't he? He's
He did the Jumanji reboot.
Yeah,
The Rock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That was
Maybe
hilarious.
he
not.
was great in it.
I thought it was funny.
I think
But,
The Rock could probably do whatever he wanted, honestly.
I mean, who's gonna
The
tell
generation
him no?
that grew up with
Yeah.
him though,
That is true.
that's not the Fortnite generation.
No, but I think his personality is so big. I think he transcends a little bit into just pop culture, just being an actor, versus being known for whatever, being the Mummy King in 2000. And I'm not sure.
I'm gonna
So-
put this out there. I think it's gonna be a Skyrim movie
Uh,
because Microsoft owns Skyrim now, don't they?
they do.
That's true.
Yeah.
The only thing, Skyrim is great and it has a great world, but there's no actual story. I guess there is, but
Story?
you the story is so, I don't want to say background because it's all story based, but you could play an entire game and never do the story in Skyrim. You know what I mean? So while it's a great world with a lot of rich lore and stuff like that, I don't know how well it adapts to a movie. Because the game doesn't follow
It adapts better than Fortnite. in
It
my
does
opinion.
that, but how many kids are gonna go see a Skyrim movie versus Fortnite? You know? I don't know. So to answer Grant's question, could this be Microsoft's first major step towards putting more of their newly acquired titles on the big screen in the future? Maybe. Who knows? All right. Do you guys want to guess at League of Legends champion?
Do it.
All right. So I'm
Are we
gonna
playing
give you
7
guys.
questions?
We.
Might
You
be
guys-
more than
7. I think we'll start with 8. I don't even remember. I think we didn't finish the last one I tried to do with you guys. So we're gonna do 8. And I'm gonna.
Are you picking the same champion? Because if so, I have.
No, I'm changing. Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah. So I've got my guy pulled up. So you guys can go ahead and start asking.
Okay, I'll start where I started last time. This is voice acted by a guy.
It is voice acted by a dude.
Really?
Presumably.
All right, Billy, your turn.
Oh gosh. Oh, I don't even know where to start. So we're trying to guess a League of Legends champion.
Yes.
Okay. Are they primarily a bottom laner?
A bottom laner? No.
Go
Will or
ahead,
Maddie?
Maddie.
I think that's
Okay.
a good question, by the way.
I was
I-
gonna ask, are those good questions? Like figuring out the lane?
Yeah,
I don't
I
even
think
know.
especially bottom lane, you cover 2 lanes with 1 question because
That's why I chose it. Yeah.
But no, not a bottom laner.
So it's my go.
Yep.
Let's see. How many questions do we have? You're not giving us very many, right?
No, I
I
said
think
I said 8
we
for
should
now.
do. I think there should be 3 questions for each of us.
3 for each. So do you want to do
12.
That's 12. All right.
Easy.
We'll do
Easy money.
12 and we'll adjust if we need to.
Yeah, we'll adjust. Once I get it right here, we'll just go down to 4 next time.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I've got a feeling. Is it a top laner?
Is it a top laner? No.
Oh,
Okay. Is it a melee champ?
It is not a melee champ.
That's the question right there.
That's a good one.
That's
That's
what-
about, it splits them about 50-50.
So it is a dude that is ranged.
Hmm.
Okay.
well, that would have eliminated top lane
Yeah.
and jungle to an extent.
Arthas jungle.
Gosh, I'm
Well,
gonna
I
be
said
so
to an
useless at
extent.
this.
Ability to just hang in there. Be supportive.
Yeah,
Billy's
Garth,
gonna be the one to
Garth is
guess it.
jungle, guys. I knew that.
So since Billy guessed a primary role
Hmm.
and you went with that, could I guess like a primary color theme on a base skin?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Why not?
Doesn't help me very much.
We'll see. So what I'm thinking is we're stuck with a mid laner, obviously, because it can't be jungle.
Okay, then what are our
It
mid
could be
laners?
jungle. It could be
It
great.
could. Okay, but,
Vigar is a male who's
but
ranged.
I'm thinking, so your assassins mid lane, you get something like not Talon, Zed.
He's melee.
Yeah, he said not melee.
He's not melee.
He's melee.
He's
Zed?
melee, but I'm thinking of his ability. Yeah, I guess he's melee. So ranged.
Karthus.
Yeah.
Bard's not voiced at all, is he?
That's,
Unless you count chimes.
voices chimes. Or chimes voiced, I guess.
And then Vigar, like Billy said.
That's the only mid lane male I play.
Vel'Koz. I don't know if Vel'Koz is
I think
voiced.
Vel'Koz's like genderless, isn't he?
Well, clearly not if you said he's a he.
Well, yeah, I think he's.
So you're up to
Skip me.
4 questions. So you guys have 8 questions left.
Come back to me. Come back to me.
No, you can't.
Oh,
It's
we
how it
can't
works. It goes in order, and whoever
Okay,
gets
okay.
the right
First
gets the
time.
point.
100% ranged is what we're going with. All right. So Brand would go mid and is ranged. Azir is
People-
ranged.
Azir's
like
not
a
ranged,
support.
is he?
Yeah. Well, he's not bot lane though.
Brand
Rise.
is.
Azir is not ranged, correct?
Azir is ranged.
What?
Yes.
No, he's literally he has like a spear or whatever, and he's poking people.
No.
Okay, here you go, Colton.
Okay.
I don't know how much you know about TFT, but is it a current? Is he currently in the TFT rotation?
I
know
can
that.
I can look it up and tell you.
That
That
This is a helping.
way to
Jenny
help
question.
us out. And
I
Matthew.
thought we get a winner and a loser. Like I want to win.
oh.
You guys can compete. I don't care. I was thinking more of like a team thing, but
I thought
you
we
guys-
were all a team here.
Billy got a point.
I
last
wasn't
time,
going
Yeah.
to
so
win.
okay.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
for the
You got Wes
players.
Welker. Did you know,
Oh.
Getty? Did you know Wes Welker played in the NFC?
Yeah. Didn't he play for the? No.
was
He played
af-
for the 49ers for a bit. Some jank like that.
Yeah, it was some jank like that. I think it was. I don't remember. But your question, is he in the current TFT lineup? He is not.
Okay, that helps me a lot.
How do you
Not so much the other clowns, but it helps me a lot.
Can I look up the TFT rotation? Or is that
Um,
cheating?
I mean,
I
I would
can tell it
say
to you
it's
if you
not
want.
in the spirit of the game, but
All right.
you can. if
All
you
right,
want.
fine. Go ahead, Billy. Have fun.
Is it a magic-based champion?
I think that's a hard question to answer.
Would it be like, like ability power? Is that what you're like?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that was my question.
In the spirit of being fair, I do not want to answer that question.
Okay,
I'm
that's
sorry.
fine. No, you're good.
Ask if
that's-
it's an attack damage champ.
That might be a slight hint. So
Well, I feel like I asked that. I feel like that should count as my question, though.
I'm fine if you ask another one.
Well, I don't have another one.
Okay. So I'll count that as a question.
That's
We
fine.
can go to the next one. Who's next? Matthew?
Ready?
I'm next. So you wouldn't answer that one?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
In the interest
Uh.
of trying to play in the spirit of the game, I would rather not answer that question.
I don't really understand what that means.
Well, if they're
It-
attack damage,
I'll
you'd
let you
say
go.
no. If they're hybrid, you should probably say no. How many hybrid mid laners are there? None.
Is
I don't know
Corky?
any.
Does people like
Corky
Corky?
is,
Corky is.
but it's weird.
Are we saying Corky is primarily a mid laner now?
That's where people play him.
I know. That's
Oh
what
shoot!
people
Well,
play.
enjoy your free point, Matthew.
I was already working on it.
I guess it then.
Do I get the assist if he gets it?
I mean,
It's a team game.
Okay. TFT rotation.
so.
Ooh, issue with that. Corky is in this rotation.
Thank you.
No, he's not.
He's about to be in like a couple days.
Yeah,
well,
but he's not in the
about
one
to be.
currently.
Well,
Just
Yeah.
guess it, Matty.
I'm currently playing it right now on PvE.
Anyways, does this does this champion say I'm on it, black shoe?
He does say that from time to time.
Oh my
Would
god.
anybody like to hazard a guess?
Point for Maddie.
Point from Addy in the team game.
We're going to give it to Matthew for the point and the rest of the team for the assist. Billy with the big one, because Corky's auto attacks do 80% magic damage.
So I was 80% right.
You were 80% right.
I
But
mean, his abilities have a lot of AP ratios too, don't
yes,
they?
his Q is AP ratio, his W is, and his rocket is. His rocket
See,
also
if
has
I-
80 scaling, and his E is 80 scaling. So he's very hybrid, but
Yeah.
more
If I knew
magic
more
damage.
about, if I knew more about League, then I wouldn't have even asked that. That
So
way.
he will build 80 items sometimes, but he's still in. If you look at his damage breakdown, he does more AP damage. That's why he builds Sork shoes and not Berserker Greaves. Yeah. So that was. I didn't want to answer that one and say he's an AP champion, because he doesn't seem like an AP champion. You know.
So very nicely done picking the only champion in the game, Billy, that would, or I guess Golden.
Yeah.
But good posing the question that would stump him. That's-
You know,
It's all
using
you.
my vast League knowledge, I knew exactly where to go.
It's a deep trans. I got nervous when Getty said, "Actually, Corky is in the GFT rotation." I was like furiously typing. I was like, I just looked it up. I swear he's not.
He's
but-
coming.
He's coming. So
Oh, Poo Poo Horseshoe is on his way.
okay. Well, I did not look up the upcoming releases for TFT. I looked up the current TFT rotation, and he was not in it. So that's how I based my answer. Any
Makes sense.
Jeez, boys.
any other?
Easy money. Was that like 6 questions?
That was
Seven.
seven.
That was 7th.
Because Matthew was 7, and then I guess.
Wanted 12.
Yes, I think 7 to 8. I think 8 might be fair. But you guys had some good questions, so I don't know. We'll see. See if I can stump you guys next time. Anybody else want to talk about what they're playing, what they're doing? So, Will, you're on Dragon Age,
Yep. Pretty good. Pretty good.
having fun. I got it myself. I played 30 minutes, but very fun. It's super, like, fills that niche of like what Dragon Age does.
Yeah, it's an entirely different RPG. Like, just different style than most games like that. It's really fun.
Very fun.
Getty played it, I know.
Great game.
Matthew, you playing anything? Just Minecraft?
Yeah, still just Minecraft, but I was gonna say something about how they just ruined PUBG, right? I don't think we talked about that last time.
That's a good topic.
No. What? I don't. What do they do to PUBG?
Don't even get me
70% bots.
Yeah,
Oh.
they made it free to play, right? And they introduced a ton of bots into the game.
They introduced the bots like 2 years ago, apparently.
But
I
I
think
feel like
they're
there's
just-
more now.
y-
It's
yeah.
just it's not even really I don't think it's very much fun to play at all anymore.
Nope.
Like you'd rather wait longer to get into a full lobby of actual people
Then
than
play
to
with
run
robots.
around and get like 9 or 10 kills on bots and then fight the only other players left in the game at the very end.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like a wasteland.
Yep.
Not very fun.
Not fun at all.
Billy, you playing anything?
My main game I've been playing recently is Apex Legends,
Apex.
and then probably Rocket League after that.
Good old Rocket League.
In that order. Am I right?
If,
What?
I said in that order. We play Apex till we're
In
ready to beat
that
ourselves
order.
over the head with a rock.
Yeah.
And then we go play Rocket League till we do the same.
Do it all over again.
if nobody has anything else to talk about, I have the perfect segue. Thank you, Billy. As did anybody see Boston Scott, running back for the Philadelphia Eagles, signed a contract with Dignitas to join their Rocket League team?
Insane.
That's
I don't
crazy.
know how he has the time. I have
Yeah.
no clue.
I mean, I saw his rank. He was like their Grand Master, essentially. I don't know Rocket League ranks, but
Grand champion, top 0.52%.
yeah. So he is. I mean,
He's a
he's
grand
seriously good.
Yeah, it's absolutely absurd. Like that's ridiculous.
So, what do you think? I
Oh,
know
the really weird thing. Sorry to interrupt, Colton. Is hold on. Let me see where I read that. I think the 76ers own that team.
is that true?
Yeah,
Yeah.
acquired by the
Dignitas?
76ers in 2016. Yeah.
Hmm.
So technically, he's
In the Philly organization.
yeah.
That's cool. I know the Warriors own, I think, 100 Thieves. And there are a bunch of NBA teams that own different League of Legends. So I just know the
Do you
League of Legends teams.
Do you think he's probably already practiced or played with Dignitas since you probably knew him through the Philadelphia Association? Maybe that'd be cool.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how well the Eagles and the 76ers get along.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're.
Couldn't tell you that.
But yeah, it's so weird. Like everything I hear about football, I don't have time. It's football, or I guess in the off season he would have time to play, but
Mhm.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Still a lot of workouts and stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That he's got to work around.
Good for him. I mean,
So
Grand Champ is not easy for me to get to. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, it took me a
He-
while.
in the press release, they said he signed as a player and content creator. So that could mean a couple things. I know in League of Legends, there have been players, especially ex-pro players, signed as content creators, not to play on their main rosters, but just to stream and sort of, I don't know, grow brand awareness, I guess.
That's what you're thinking this is? Kind of just to. Like, I'm not saying he's not good, but
Huh.
he'd probably never play.
I don't want to insinuate that he's not good enough, because I have no idea, and I don't even know Rocket League. But I did see that Dignitas is the second seed in the European Rocket League, sort of whatever the association, whatever it is. So Dignitas is very good. Is what I got out of it. And Boston Scott, not that he's not great, but he does have obligations, obviously, I think, to football first. And I think that it's probably going to be working around them both. I think Rocket League would probably be a secondary career to him because I would probably wager that he's making more money with the Eagles than he would be with Dignitas.
Also, like Grand Champ, obviously super hard to get to, and those players are ridiculous. But like pro players make the people in the Supersonic Legends, which is the highest rank, they make those guys look silly. So like, I don't know if a Grand Champ can really even hang with actual pros.
Right. So that's.
So I think you're probably right.
You think
Just a marketing thing.
might just
Most
be
likely,
publicity.
and maybe they're even like seeing if they can he'll get better too. Who knows?
I just want to know what the odds are of somebody being, like, sure, you got your NFL player pool, like that's whatever percentage of the population, and then you get the percentage of people in Rocket League that make it to Grand Champion. And what's the odds of an overlap? Like
Yeah.
one person in both. That is
That's
insane.
It looks like just Boston Scott, I think. I don't
I
think
think
there's
he's the whole population.
There's a YouTube like a mini documentary on Gordon Hayward and his League of Legends playing, and this was like in 2013 when he was still with Utah, and League of Legends wasn't as near as popular as it is, 3 years ago or even now. But I don't know what his rank was, but he was playing with some of the like pro players and some of the people around the scene. Like they would get together and just sort of maybe a publicity
cool.
thing, but it's not the first time I would say, but it's definitely like I would say he's probably the best legitimate video game player that's in the NFL. I would say, yeah, I think this would probably prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt, but I think it's more of like publicity thing. I know when the UFC signed CM Punk, I don't know if you guys remember, but CM Punk was a pro wrestler who retired from pro wrestling and wanted to just go join the UFC because he thought he could transition. It's not the same skill set at all, and he ended up not doing that well. He fought one guy and beat him, I think. and then lost his next 2 matches and then retired. But he was on the pay-per-views, and he drew a ton of money for UFC and got a ton of publicity for him. So I don't know if this is going to be in the same vein as that, but it's not the first time something like this has happened.
Yeah.
But he could be, if he just wanted to do, sort of like sponsored streams, that's an avenue he could go. Because if he's just playing anyways, I might as well stream it, and he can go ahead and get some income for him, publicity for him, and then, of course, for Dignitas in Philadelphia. I think the fact that he's able to do it, it grows, like, everything that he's in. More Eagles fans from the video game side, and then more Dignitas fans from the people who don't know much about Rocket League, I think it's pretty smart.
Yeah, it can.
Yep.
I don't see a downside to doing it. I think there's only upside.
Mm-hmm. All right. On that note, we have a big retirement announcement in the NFL. One Mr. Thomas Brady retires. I've got some key stats here pulled up over his very long career. I think 22-year career. He's like 44 now. Some key stats real quick. He's 243 wins, 73 losses. I believe that's just regular season. So that's 77% career win percentage in the NFL, which is, I think, the craziest stat of all. He's first all-time in wins, Pro Bowls, Super Bowl MVPs, starts, completions, attempts, passing yards, passing touchdowns. Kind of insane to think about. Do you guys think there'll ever be another Tom Brady, or no?
I don't think so. I don't think anybody will play that long. I think you have to play that long to get those stats.
Mm-hmm.
If we're just talking about stats.
Yeah, and we could be, or how many Super Bowls did he go to? 9?
10, right?
10.
And he won 6 or 7?
7.
So, he went to the Super Bowl half his career, essentially, and was the number 1 team in the NFL for a third of his career.
Yeah, well, that'll never happen again.
Yeah. I mean, you just think about some of the stuff he's done. It's hard to imagine somebody being that good for that long. I mean, some people do it for a little bit, I mean, there have been years where Tom Brady wasn't the best quarterback in the league, but as far as his longevity goes, it's, staying that top 3, top 5, and then being the best some years. I don't know if it's going to be possible for anybody to replicate it. Even if, like the league has been trending towards more passing, I still think that the stats are so high that it's going to be almost impossible for anybody to pass him.
Mm-hmm.
So ESPN did do a list, and they had the top Tom Brady moments against every team. And obviously, I wanted to see what the Bears was. Do you guys want to hazard a guess?
I would say there was a clip of him juking. I can't remember if it was Urlacher
it was
or
Urlacher.
Yeah.
that's what I would say.
Me being
Brian
a Bears
Urlacher.
fan, that is exactly what I expected. It was not. It was the old throwing up the 4 on the one hand, thinking it was 3rd down when it was really 4th down. Tampa Bay against the Bears in 2020. I think it was.
That's pretty lame. It's definitely juking him out. That's what I would say.
And I'm surprised they didn't put that. I guess they had to have some negative Tom Brady moments. I mean, it was hilarious. And, as a Bears fan, obviously that made my day. But him juking Urlacher is definitely a better Tom Brady moment.
You saying there's some recency bias in there, Will?
I think so.
Some recency bias, potentially.
Both great moments, though.
I would be curious as to what the Packers against the Packers was.
Oh no, I don't even.
Do you guys have a favorite Tom Brady moment?
Like a Tom Brady in-game moment, or just like Tom Brady as a
Yeah.
whole?
Tom Brady or plays or whatever.
That's really tough because like anytime he's throwing the ball, like I mean, sure you have to put it there, but the receiver made the catch. So I feel like he kind of I don't know. He has some good runs. Like all of his runs are really interesting.
They're pretty funny to watch.
Yeah.
Because he's trying so hard, but he's moving pretty slow, and then he gets the first down, and I've never seen someone get so excited.
Yeah, his celebrations are pretty incredible.
I would say for me, it's the reason why, and this is probably the reason why I think he's the best NFL player of all time, is because he literally will never quit. Like he would never ever quit in a game.
Yeah.
Like obviously he had the greatest Super Bowl comeback of all time against the Falcons. And like no one ever, like you would never guess that a team could come back down that much. But it was like when they would show him, like he didn't look like he had his like head down between his knees and was like giving up, obviously, like most quarterbacks or most players would at that point. Like he is just so determined to always play until the clock hit 0. So that was, I just always thought that was crazy. And he's also the most clutch quarterback ever. So, I don't have any specific moments, but just those traits about him, I always thought was really fun to watch because you could never count his team out.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of broken iPads, a lot of spit in people's faces in Tom Brady's career. A lot of yelling. My favorite Tom Brady moment of all time is definitely, and it's more, like a team, like you said, Will, because he's passing it to somebody. But when Randy Moss ran past Darrelle Revis and threw his hand up and the one-hand catch, I think that's my favorite Tom Brady moment of all time. Is that pitch and catch. And it's more of a Randy Moss moment, I guess. But it's such an impressive play. And when I think of, like, Tom Brady, that's the play I go to. Any other Brady moments y'all think about or no?
It's just tough to choose. Like there's so many.
Yeah, there is one crazy thing that I saw, which is like, I mean, how many years has he been starting or in the NFL? It's like 20, 21?
22.
22? Yeah, and he's been in 10 Super Bowls, right? So I saw this picture somewhere, and it said that Tom Brady's chance of making the Super Bowl is higher than Steph Curry's chance of hitting a 3.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
That's pretty crazy.
That's pretty good. And
So
Yeah,
I
I don't
guess
know
just
that-
shows you.
I don't know
pretty
that
good.
that will ever be repeated.
his consistency along his
Yeah.
career is kind of, unmatched. Somebody said Wayne Gretzky in the NHL, so I don't really know much about the NHL, but Babe Ruth in the MLB would be the only other comparison in baseball. And then, of course, Jordan with the Bulls is another good comparison, but even Jordan had a lower percentage of titles in his career, I think. Maybe I'll double check that. It might not be a lower percentage, but it was definitely less championships.
I think it is a lower percentage. Yeah.
Are they just taking the best from every sport? Is that
Yeah.
what they're doing?
I think Brady and Jordan are probably the most comparable.
Yeah.
I don't know that you're gonna find a better player. From
What did Gretzky do? Good.
Everything. The scoring, the points and points, goals and assists. You could take away his goals scored from that, and he would still be the #1 scoring player.
Oh.
Yeah. It's so there's a stat for Gretzky where he retired. I don't know how long ago it is, but he could have. I think it was a period of 19 years, or 16 years, something like that. He could have played in every NHL game, not registered a point, and still averaged over a point per game. It's absurd.
Was it
But,
just that? Was it just that time period? Like, was it just bad hockey then? Like, or is he that good?
Goaltending was a little bit different, and the rules were bent a lot more. Well, I mean, he's what it would be a strategy for them instead of having offsetting penalties at the time. They'd always just make it a 4-on-4 if you had 2 penalties. So he'd have guys go out and get penalties because he could always score in 4-on-4. Like if there's that extra time and space, always score. So they changed rules around him just because of how dominant he was.
And that's always impressive when you can get the rules changed because of what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, like you broke the game, so now we have to fix the game because you're too good at it.
Right. It's absurd. Yeah, like if you actually take just a second and go look at his numbers, it's ridiculous.
So just thinking about it, and just with the 17-game schedule in the NFL, and possibly even going to 18 soon, some of those records could be broken, I guess.
Yeah, that's
some Brady's records.
That's a theory, but again, it would have to be like a comparable length career because 2 more games is like 10% more games in a season. So you still got to play roughly 20 seasons and be very good for all those seasons. So it's going to take like from day one being really good. And I can't think of any of the young quarterbacks of like right now who could even like start following Brady's footsteps. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, there's Mahomes. There's Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's one.
Who knows what Burrow's gonna do?
That's true. That's a good point. Hey, it's hard to tell. Don't get my hopes up.
Justin Herbert has been putting up really good
That's
numbers.
true. Yeah. I think he was like top 3 in yards, wasn't he?
But you're right.
Love.
Like just the fact that you have to be that good for that long, it's gonna be hard to even come close.
Even Mac Jones.
The vast majority.
Okay, so on to bigger and better things. The Super Bowl is coming up. We got Cincy versus the Rams. The Rams are 4.5-point favorite right now. Y'all got money on it right now. Who do you got?
I'm taking the Bengals straight up. You can keep your 4.5.
Anybody else going that bold?
I mean, I've picked against the friggin' Bengals all playoffs.
Yep.
And I'm going to go against them again. I'm going to go Rams. I think they're going to cover.
I think the Rams are the more talented team, but I think Joe Burrow is more of a clutch quarterback than Stafford.
They're playing for Harambe now, okay?
I've just,
Sam Hubbard.
maybe this, like, Stafford is a very talented quarterback, but as a Packer fan, I've seen some of the dumb plays he makes when he, when it matters. So I don't know. I'm leaning Cincinnati.
I mean, and let's even be real. In the 49ers game, there were at least 2 dropped in-hands interceptions.
Yep.
It's like, there's Stafford being Staffordian. Like,
easily could have turned that game.
Yep. Easily.
But it's a defense. Like, the Rams' defense is
The Rams'
insane.
defense is the only thing that gives me pause. Well, not the only thing, but yeah, the Rams' defense is legit.
So I've got some stats. So Bengals, this is the rough one, okay? So the Bengals have allowed 55 sacks all season, which is the 3rd highest in the NFL. And the Rams defense has 50 sacks, which is also 3rd highest in the NFL. So you have the 3rd worst O-line versus the 3rd best sack-getting defense. The Rams also are the 6th best rushing yard defense, 1754 rushing yards allowed. The Bengals are also, they're top 5. They're 1 above the Rams in rush yards allowed. But the Rams have allowed 17 pass touchdowns all season, which is number 2. And the Rams have 41 passing touchdowns themselves, which is also number 2. the stats, you just look at a lot of the stats. I looked at team stats. The Rams were better than the Bengals in virtually every category. So you look at it by the numbers and you think, how could Cincinnati even stand a chance? But
Well, I mean, go look at last week's game then. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm sure the Chiefs led in all those stat categories as well.
mm,
I mean, he was sacked, what, 9 times and they still won?
he was sacked
Yeah.
9 times in the Tennessee Titans game.
Most ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah,
very
the Titans game.
very similar. I was thinking about it the other day. It's very similar to the Pats for a Super Bowl win against the Rams.
Hmm.
Like,
Yep.
the Pats were definitely not supposed to win that game or even be in that game.
We were 14-point underdogs out the gate, weren't we?
So you look at it and you think, I mean, Los Angeles looks good, but I'm sure that's, you think Cincinnati's been playing with a chip on their shoulders like that since the playoffs started. I'm sure they have. I'm not even sure they were favored against Tennessee.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely not.
So you look at that and think, okay, now what are they going to do now that it's really the big one they've gotten here? And you just think Joe Burrow with, those grapefruits he's got under there, those big old nuts, is he going to be able to take the Rams all the way in the Super Bowl? I
He
think he can.
probably will. Yeah.
I think
At this
it'll at
point,
least be
I'd
a
take
good-
him over Stafford.
Think it's a quarterback showdown.
No, I said I would. Yeah, like if we're choosing between the two,
Mhm.
I'd take Burrow over Stafford.
Yeah. I mean, it could just as easily be an overwhelming defensive game,
I do think Cincinnati needs to have a better first half in this game than they did in their first two,
Yeah.
because they were awful,
Yeah.
and that really almost cost them, especially against the Chiefs.
Yeah. I mean, they were a hair away from losing that game, the whole game. And in
Yeah.
fact, it looked pretty desperate, but they figured it out. I mean, I guess all they got to do is figure it out. I can't remember recently how many Super Bowl games have actually been good and competitive. I feel like, Patriots Falcons, obviously. But
Patriots Rams is pretty close.
yeah.
That was a 1-score game the majority of the game.
So I don't know. I just hope it's a good game. I hope we get some back and forth action. Maybe some good storylines. I don't know. We'll
I
see.
think it'll be good.
I think most of the country's just glad that Mahomes' wife and brother aren't going to be present. That's what I've read.
Yes.
I just saw a video, and I didn't know that it was such a big deal to people, but I saw the video of his, well, I guess it's his fiance, and I guess nobody likes her. Now I see why, because she is absolutely obnoxious. But there's just TikToks that she posted that they were playing on this YouTube video, and her face is just something about it I don't like. I can't put my finger on it, but I don't enjoy looking at her. I don't think she's
Oh,
not
man.
pretty or anything. She looks obnoxious.
Didn't she spray the fans with like champagne or
Yeah.
something after they won?
She did. After they
Yeah.
won against the Chiefs. Or against whoever they played before to get to
Those
the
the Bills.
Yeah.
In her defense, I feel like the fans enjoyed it. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm not in
I
that.
I
in
mean,
that
I
moment.
entirely agree with you. I think she's kind of trashy.
Yeah, I think probably that moment's overblown too, but I don't enjoy her. There was a lot of they played some TikTok she was doing after they lost. She was doing TikToks in the foreground with Patrick Mahomes in the background, just sad, obviously that he lost the AFC Championship game. So
That's messed up.
while she's just dancing with his idiot brother.
That guy's that guy is a
Easy.
real number one.
We'll
I've been
just
cautioned.
bleep it
Easy.
good.
Yeah.
At what point does his Patrick Mahomes' fiance leave him for his brother?
I
For
Ah.
Patrick Mahomes' sake, hopefully soon, because I like Patrick Mahomes. Everything he's
Can you
done, I like
imagine?
him.
Can you imagine she takes half of everything he has and then he goes to his brother?
Like
That's so messed up.
That would be an awkward Christmas.
No, they're not married, are they? They're just
They're
they're
to be
engaged.
wed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
They have
I'm
a
saying,
kid too.
yeah, they do.
Now that would be weird for the
See,
kid.
that's what I don't get, because like I actually think Patrick Mahomes is like a super nice guy.
He is. I think he's super likable
it-
too.
Yeah, I don't understand why like
I don't like him.
he's.
I don't like him either.
Well, of course you don't like him because of football, but like his actual personality, when you like listen to him talk and stuff, he's like never talks down on anyone,
Mhm.
and he's always like happy and smiling, like just nice
Was
guy.
he smiling in those TikToks after he lost the
He-
NFC
Well,
championship?
obviously not then.
There
but-
was a look of mild annoyance, which
Just
I was assuming in his head was like, would you please effing stop right now? Which he was disguising in his face as mild annoyance, but
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a fan, I guess. But I like Patrick Mahomes. I hope he does better. Obviously, he loves her and whatever, and that's great for him. But I think that she's a distraction, and I think that she's obnoxious, personally.
Kermit and Miss Piggy. Is that what it is?
Kermit, Miss Piggy. I like Miss Piggy more than I like. I like Miss Piggy a lot more than I like Patrick Mahomes' fiance. Okay, do you guys want to talk about some big legal headlines in the NFL right now around systemic racism? Is it too serious? Do you want to talk about it?
We can.
I'll go over what we know real quick. So I have some notes. Brian Flores, who is the head coach for Miami, is suing the NFL and 3 teams for systemic racism. He claims that he was offered by, I think, the general manager $100,000 per game per loss to tank in order to get better draft position, which, you know, if I'm a coach, I'm like, you tell me all we gotta do is lose the game and I get $100,000. Sign me up, but it's whatever. He said that his on-field success was diminished because any on-field success he had that season would be considered compromising draft position instead of building momentum for the next season, you know. And so you think, I don't know, in today's like NBA and NFL world, I think a lot of the same stuff happens. If you look at teams that are like consistently bad for 3 years in order to get some of these draft picks, I don't know if it's a good method or if it's shady, or I don't even know how you would define it. And I don't know if it's good for the sport as a whole, or I don't think it's good for the sport as a whole, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't have too big of an issue with it. I think it's a viable strategy to be like, hey, look, we're going to suck. Now, incentivizing it, being like, hey, we'll pay you additional money to lose games, that's different than just being like, hey, look, we're just going to suck for the next couple of years, and that's just how it's going to be. And know that there's a long-term goal for it.
That needs to be something that when they hired him on,
Yep.
the owner, did you say it was the owner that did it, or the GM, or what? Either way, doesn't matter. They need to be like, hey, we're gonna tank for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna count that against you at all for
Right.
losing, and then we're gonna go
Mm-hmm.
like that. I think that's the way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I have a question regarding that. So that sounds great, like to have that agreement and everything, but why would a coach agree to that? Because that shows up on their resume for future jobs. If he's like trying to get another team to hire him as the coach, they're going to be like, why would we hire you? Your record's terrible. Like, look at what you did with this team. You had one of the worst records in the league for 3 years in a row. He's like, what's he going to say? Well, they made me lose.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I just feel like that's a bad agreement for any coach to make.
Yeah, I see.
Well,
how
I mean,
it could put the coach in a bad position in the future.
Sure, but if he was going to win 3 games anyway, like, I mean, bad teams that were even considering tanking
Mm-hmm.
are bad enough to not get enough wins for that to make a difference. Like, what's the difference between 1 win and 3 wins, really? Not much, just draft picks.
Yeah, but 1 or 2 wins each season for 3 seasons makes a big difference. I feel like in a coach's long-term like resume.
I don't know. I think his lawsuit's kind of like, is it 2 lawsuits or is it just the, like, is it 1 lawsuit with both of those, like the pain to lose and then the racism thing? Is that just 1 lawsuit?
I think it was a class action lawsuit filed against the NFL, and then it was a lawsuit filed against 3 teams specifically. Personally, and I think that's right.
So I don't understand what's the correlation between the losing and the racism thing.
So the systemic racism was in meetings that he had. There is a rule in the NFL. It's called the Rooney Rule. It requires NFL teams to interview minority candidates for their open positions, no matter what the position is. So he's claiming that the Giants interviewed him and that the Broncos interviewed him, and they were essentially like sham interviews because they weren't going to pick him anyways, and he didn't get hired at either of those jobs. So he's claiming that it was, I guess, a waste of time, and I'm not sure exactly what the lawsuit is for. But that's the rule that he's, like, essentially fighting against because they have to interview a minority candidate, but he's claiming that he wasn't going to get the job anyways.
Yeah, he was just used to
Yeah,
fulfill that
yeah,
quota.
he was saying
Right.
they'd already decided who they were hiring before.
So then that's the
That's why you don't
downfall
have
of
that
that rule. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I'm thinking, okay, does this apply for positions too? So, like, do they have to hire a white cornerback every now and then, or when's the last time they had a white cornerback in the NFL? So the thing that I sort of see from his side, especially, is he was fired after back-to-back winning seasons. So in 2020 he went 10-6. In 2021 he went 9-8. So slight, he went in the wrong direction, but there were times last season where Miami looked really good. Especially
They went on a 7-8 win streak and then lost to like the last game to break that streak.
Right.
I totally agree. I don't think he needed to be fired at all. Like, I don't understand it at all.
So that's the part that I don't get.
But I don't think it was a racist decision to fire him.
No, I'm
It
not.
seems like they had disagreements. Like, I don't know. It just seems like there was problems all
Yeah,
throughout.
Tua wanted him out.
Yeah, and if this, so quickly turn around after the firing, I think that there were probably feelings of animosity during the process,
Yeah.
Potentially, I can't, speak on that, but there are claims that he didn't meet with a certain high-profile quarterback on a yacht when this quarterback was a free agent in 2020, most
Old
likely
Brady.
referring to old Brady. And if y'all have seen now the infamous clip where Tom Brady was like, y'all want to go with that MFer?
Yeah.
Y'all sticking with that MFer? He was talking about
Fitzpatrick.
Fitzmagic. Old Fitzmagic down in Miami. So that is... He refused to meet with Brady, is what he's claiming, because he didn't want to break the NFL's rules about tampering, because he was still with the Patriots, I think. Or is what he's claiming. So he didn't feel like doing it, so he didn't want it. So that's why I think there's animosity between him and the management. So it's probably been developing for a few years. You guys got any more thoughts? I don't know. I just wanted to go over.
Brady
Billy, what do
and
you think?
Brady down there in Miami, that would have been something else.
Mm-hmm.
Moved right within the division.
You think he could have done the same thing with Miami that
Yep.
he did in Tampa Bay?
I don't see why not.
I don't think so. I don't think they had the supporting cast.
I think
I-
Tampa
I
Bay
don't
was
think
definitely
Tampa Bay
better,
really did either.
but
I don't know.
What?
I think
Tampa Bay?
Miami's
Chris Godwin?
defense is actually legitimately good, and they have some young wide receivers who are decent. If they had made the same free agent signings Tampa Bay made,
right.
like same level, I think they
Right.
would. I don't know that they'd be at the same level. skill
I
wise,
don't-
but I think it would be a lot closer than you'd think.
That's
Their
what I'm
receivers? Who do they have? Like they didn't
Devontae
have
Parker.
Waddle.
They have what's his name? Their rookie that they have is insane.
Waddle, yeah, he wasn't there.
Waddle is nasty. But they had Devontae Parker, who's actually really good.
If he ever plays.
If he ever plays.
If he ever plays, yeah. I'm blanking on other wide receivers off the top of my head.
They had
Will
Kenny
Fuller.
Stills there for a
They
bit.
had-
you know,
they
that's
had
a
some
washed up one
decent
Brady would
guys.
like.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll never know, I guess, since old
Yeah.
Brady's done.
But in terms of Flores, I think it's dumb that he doesn't have a job in the NFL right now. I think he's arguably been one of the best coaches in the league the last few years.
I mean, do we
With
see
the
that
job he's done.
persisting into the coming year?
Yeah, I think he's ruining his.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's stupid for a team to not give him a chance. Like, and if any, I don't, and it's hard to say though about the whole, whether or not racism played into it, because like we don't know what happened. Like
Yeah.
that's just
And I think
speculation.
he alleged, I saw on the post, he alleged that the meetings weren't taken seriously. He said that John Elway showed up hungover and didn't care
Yeah.
about the interview process. So
Yeah, and
if
it's all
that's
just
true, then
weird.
I mean, I understand where he's coming from. But
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, if what he's saying is true, yeah, then I agree with him, and that's awful. But it's all he said, she said kind of stuff.
yeah, so
So-
it's gonna be a legal battle, and whoever wins it wins it. And I don't know. I think
Yeah.
the
I just
Rooney
hope-
Rule might be amended, maybe, or
Yeah.
at least
I just
altered.
hope this doesn't tarnish his chances, like you guys were saying, in the this season and in the future, because I do think he's a really good coach.
Mm. I
But
think,
hopefully he doesn't, you know. take his own
unfortunately,
grave or anything.
I think it might carry with him much in the same way. Anybody who takes a stand personally, morally, it's just a distraction, you know.
Yep.
And it's not their fault, you know, it's where they stand, but it is like their problem and they have to deal with it.
Now, I will say, if he does think that those things played a factor in the whole hiring process and everything, I think it's a good thing that he's doing this.
Right.
Like you said, and taking a stand. So
Mm.
hopefully that would bring about some positive changes to the whole process.
All right. Any other thoughts?
Nope.
All-Star games. What do you think about All-Star games? Good, bad, fun? Do they even matter? What do you guys think?
I don't think I would agree with any of that, honestly. Good. Oh, bad. I would say they're probably bad.
Bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're especially fun. They're
Uh,
probably fun for the players. I think maybe it's just for the players to enjoy.
uh,
Do people watch it?
I don't
No.
think it
No.
really gets as much play as, you know, definitely not the playoffs and probably not even the regular season. I think it's more background. I think you're right, for the players, fan servicey, if you want to see your favorite players, you know.
See, that's what I agree. I think they should go away from the whole aspect of playing a legitimate game completely, because that's never going to happen. Players aren't going to risk getting injured
Hmm.
just for the sake of winning some meaningless game.
Hmm.
So I think what they need to do is make it into like competitions that don't pose any risk to the players. Like I like how they do like skills challenges and stuff like that. Like the NBA does a great job with their like dribbling and 3-point shooting. I think the NFL needs to follow that kind of stuff too. I don't really watch much NHL All-Star Weekend, so I don't really know. I'd imagine they don't play very hard in the actual
They don't play
game.
very hard, and they have a bunch of skill competitions.
See-
Fastest shot,
Yeah,
accuracy, all sorts of stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I think those things are cool because that gives fans something to watch, and players can actually try at those things.
Right,
you
without
know,
hurting
and say,
themselves.
"Oh yeah, I'm the most accurate shooter."
And
the league.
for like their actual competitive play, which isn't really competitive, they do 3-on-3 instead of 5-on-5. So.
Gotcha.
And if y'all want to look, I mean, so when you can say that you're not going to get injured, but here's a throwback to Carson Palmer in like 2006 during the Pro Bowl. It's pretty funny, but
Oh, he goes down.
Yeah, he kind of ate it. So I don't know. I don't know if there's any like thing you could do that would never mess you up, but it's less serious than a real game. Like those skills competitions, the throwing stuff. And I think those are more fun. I think that would actually be more entertaining to watch than a game where nobody cares. Because I think in the NBA, they used to take the All-Star games very seriously. It was like an actual competition, and there were rivalries, but now I think it's more everybody's buddy, and it's like a exhibition game.
I don't know how it is with hockey or NBA, but in baseball, the winning team got home field advantage in the World Series, right?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
So
But that's literally the only reason to watch that game. Like that game actually means anything. I don't know how hard the players play during it, but is that the same way in the hockey kid?
Nope. They do better regular season record.
That's a better way of doing it, anyway.
Yep. They're like, we actually want to control it instead of having people from other teams control it.
Yeah, literally
Yeah,
no reason to have it.
Makes sense.
yeah. So
I think the reason they made it that way was to bring some meaning back to the All-Star game. An
Yeah,
attempt to, at least.
probably.
But yeah, it's not a great system. I think like the NFL. I think I saw that they did like a 40-yard dash, and it had like Tyreek Hill and a bunch of other guys who were. And
Yeah,
I
but-
think those kind of things are fun to me.
They did all
Yeah.
sorts of other stuff. Like they've
Yeah,
done
skilled
dodgeball
throwing.
the last couple of years.
Dodgeball's
They did,
cool.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
kicker
Like just
tic
make
tac
it,
toe.
just make it fun. I think.
Yeah.
So now that we've established that All-Star games mean nothing, how do you guys feel about? There was a recent, I don't want to say controversy. There's a recent news headline in the NBA All-Star game about the voting system, and that Andrew Wiggins got the start in the Western Conference over Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, who has played, let me check real quick.
It's like 3 weeks. He's been playing for like 3 weeks.
Right. So he has not played much basketball at all.
How did he get into it then?
It's fan voted.
Oh, that's dumb.
So how do you guys feel about that? He last year would have made the All-Star game based on fan votes if he were not injured. So
It's crazy.
I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? I think
Fan votes are just dumb.
Yeah, it's just a popularity contest.
Yep. I think most of if you look up the list of the people that made the Pro Bowl this year for the NFL, I think it's pretty ridiculous. Some of the people that got in.
Mhm.
I'll have to look it up, but
I mean there were no
Yeah.
Bears.
I mean,
Yep.
how
That's
could-
ridiculous.
How could they?
I mean, I
Oh,
think
wait, that's
more
fair and
pro
balanced.
for the league. No, I think fan voting is really stupid. That it even makes a difference. Because like, first of all, it's dumb because players who make it, like you all said, popularity contest.
Mhm.
Like players don't deserve to be there who make
Mhm.
it there a lot of the times. And
Right.
then it also matters financially for the players involved because a lot of them have bonuses. Like if you make it to a Pro Bowl, you get $1 million bonus or
Mhm.
whatever.
Right.
And like some players who actually earned it aren't getting that bonus, and players who like Klay Thompson who played 3 weeks probably just got a huge bonus because he got voted to the Pro Bowl or
Mhm.
the All-Star game.
Because he's part of
Like-
the Warriors and because he's been successful for so long.
Yeah.
But even though he hasn't done anything this season, based on his
Yeah.
previous years of play, he got into Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah,
Or
it's
not
like
the-
it's
the
like
All-Star
with political elections. Like the incumbent wins a lot of the times for a reason.
Mhm.
Name recognition matters a lot. So
Right.
I think fan voting is just a bad idea.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hockey did something different this year that kind of sucked. They had it was one player per team, like a one player per team max essentially for positions, like forwards, defensemen, and goalies.
Mhm.
So there was like the Avalanche had a couple people and the Oilers had a couple people that it's like, well, Connor McDavid's going in for sure and Nathan McKinnon's going in for sure, but then you got other people on the team, Leon Draisaitl, who's like number 2 in points behind McDavid.
Mhm.
He didn't get selected because of that. So like it's like that makes no sense.
So even
Because
if your team has the 2 best
Right.
forwards in the league, only one
The
of them
first
gets
one got in. The second one didn't. He ended up getting in due to they had like 2 or 3 people per conference that was a fan vote. So like he ended up going, but if it weren't for that, then he wouldn't have gotten in.
So
It's
you're
like-
saying you're pro fan vote?
No. I am not for. I'm not
It kind of
pro.
sounds like you're pro fan
I
vote
am
right
no. Let's go back, boys. Not for fan votes.
now.
That makes it a popularity contest. At least they had the sense to vote somebody in who actually deserved to be in.
Right,
Yeah.
but that's
But-
not always going to happen. And in fact,
I
that's
feel
not,
like-
not happening right now.
And I feel like if any sports fan base were to be able to actually do that well, it would be hockey's, because I feel like they're probably
yeah, man. Look at
the
the
most
points.
knowledgeable about the actual sport of any of the major sports fan bases.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I wish that they would change it back to just how it were.
Mhm.
No real need to force teams, because some teams like the Bears aren't going to have all-stars. Like, why force a team to have somebody?
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're like, oh well, we're trying to cater, like we're trying to encourage all fan bases to enjoy it. Well, sometimes it just sucks to suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
sort of
why
like
you
a
tank.
participation trophy.
Yeah,
That's
if
why you tank.
If you choose
Why
to
you
be a
tank.
Bears fan, I mean, that's what you got to deal with.
And you live on a life of suffering until hopefully one day you get another Brian Urlacher. And
So you
then
can get trucked by Brady, juked by Brady.
so you can get juked by Brady. And we did get another Urlacher. We got Khalil Mack and did nothing with him. So
Gave him away.
Yeah.
And then asked for him back.
gave the best years of his career to Matt Nagy trying to make Mitch Trubisky into, I don't know, Donovan McNabb 2.0. And guess what? It never happened.
Guys, we ordered a Brian Urlacher, but you delivered us a Mitchell Trubisky.
It was not what we sold so much to get Mitch Trubisky, and proceeded to just confuse him year after year with these confusing offensive schemes that,
Yeah.
best case scenario, wouldn't have carried us.
That poor
success.
guy got
Yeah.
drafted into one of the worst situations I've seen for a quarterback in a while.
It was bad.
Justin Fields, exact same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
He's done.
But Fields is
Okay,
having
I
more
think it's
success
too early to
than
call it.
Trubisky.
He is
For
done.
Fields.
No way. Trubisky was good at least for 1 year.
Well, Fields has only had just the 1 year.
Yeah, and I think he was garbage.
He did better
I
than,
think the jury's out.
He did a lot better than old Red Rocket. Dalton. Andy Dalton was 92 out of 92 quarterbacks this year, or something crazy like that. His QB rating of like 4.
I would believe that.
That's the highest of his career, though.
That's impressive. How was he a starter for so long?
Because he played in Cincinnati.
It wouldn't
think
cut it.
Cincinnati,
Wouldn't cut it today.
Who wouldn't fire their coaches who sucked for the longest time?
Yeah.
Like, they don't move on quickly.
Okay. All right. Are you guys ready for another game?
Yeah.
We're gonna
Hit us.
play the NFL player. Name that NFL player game. 20 questions. Except I don't know if 20 questions is too much, but we'll see. So we'll start with 20 questions because I feel like y'all got off on a good track last time, so you got it pretty early. But I don't know. We'll see. I tried to make this one a little bit more difficult. So you guys go ahead.
I'll go first. We'll go in reverse order. Did he play for the AFC?
Did he play for the AFC? Yes.
Or I get
That sucks.
What a terrible start.
Yep.
Did you guys
Have you
learn
ever
nothing
done this
from last time?
before? Who's next?
Matthew.
Do I have to like clarify Will's mistake here?
Yes.
You can if you want.
You also
Was
speak
the
up.
majority of his career in the AFC?
A majority of his career was in the AFC.
See, I told you all. I was right. Wasted question, Matthew.
Sorry, Will.
Put your mic closer to your face too.
You're getting really quiet over there.
All right, Billy.
Is it me? So majority was in the AFC. Okay. Did he play on the offensive side of the ball?
He did not play on the offensive side of the ball.
Comes back to me.
Comes back to you.
Okay. Was he a defensive back?
A defensive back? Yes.
And what was the clarification on the AFC, NFC?
AFC, majority of his career AFC.
Okay.
Defensive back in the AFC. Probably should narrow. What was the time period, Colton? 30 years? Did you stick with that? Or recent memory?
Yeah, I mean, you guys all know this guy.
Okay.
Is that your question?
Yes, I'm counting that. That's actually
And
two
I'm
questions.
2 for 2 on bad questions. 3 for 3. Let's see. Guess we'll just go to divisions then. AFC North? Question mark?
AFC North question mark? Yes. Correct.
It's Bengals, Ravens,
Steelers, right?
Steelers.
Browns.
You said AFC North?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Man, oh man. Since the Bengals have been a hot topic, did this player, or I guess was he known for his time in the Bengals?
In the Bengals, no.
In the Bengals.
Okay, is it my turn?
Is it Billy's turn?
Oh. Do I just go for it?
Go
Go
for
for
it.
it.
Go
If
for
you
it.
guess wrong, you're out.
Oh, really? We're playing it like that?
New rule.
What?
New rule on the spot.
Are we actually playing it like that?
I don't know.
Wheel of
I'll
Fortune
do
style.
I'll do it.
Is
I
that
don't
how it
care.
goes?
Do it, Billy.
Is this player's name Ed Reed?
It is Ed Reed.
Oh
Good
my
guess. That's
gosh.
correct.
Billy, bold move with Palamalu still on the board, but
Yep.
it was
I know.
Ed Reed.
I was between the two, but I was like, I'm going Ed.
I thought it would
Big
be
Ed.
a little bit
Ed,
harder.
Ed,
That was
and Eddie.
7 questions. You guys just kept
All
going.
thanks to
You got-
Will's super helpful questions. That's how I got it.
You're welcome.
You got AFC, and then defense, and then defensive back, and then AFC North. And I thought, gosh, this is way too easy. You guys nailed it.
That was
Yeah.
a good one all around. Yeah, we really did kill it.
Another point for Billy.
I couldn't think of anybody for the freaking Bengals though, but I was like,
Yeah, I couldn't either.
we've been talking about them. They're in the Super Bowl. Like,
I could have gone
Maybe.
Pac-Man Jones, the old guy who
Aw,
spit
yeah.
on that lady in Cincinnati. There's a defensive back for Cincinnati. Not a very
Adam-
notable list.
Adam Pac-Man Jones.
What a dog.
Ed Reed.
He was in jail at one point, wasn't he?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
also
several
wrestled
times.
in TNA wrestling at one point. He was featured
God.
on their roster of wrestlers.
Yeah, he was one guy you didn't want to fight with.
What was that? Cortland Finnegan? That guy was
Oh, yeah.
Him and Andre Johnson.
Andre Johnson.
Yeah.
Andre Johnson just put him on the ground.
He was with the Titans, right? Finnegan?
Yep.
Yeah.
Old
Man,
clown
that
hair.
was a good moment. Clown.
Ed Reed, what a beast.
Yeah.
He's currently the chief of staff for the University of Miami, which is an advisory role to head coach Manny Diaz. So he's above the head coach. He just advises the head coach, I guess.
Good for
I
him.
always knew that kid was going to be successful.
I mean, he's one guy who's famous for that Tom Brady clip on YouTube, where Tom and Bill Belichick were like brainstorming here. They were like, "What do we do about Ed Reed?" And they were both like, "We have no idea." And Tom Brady says, "Every time he's on film, every single time we run this formation and this play, he goes to the weak side. So we're going to run a play to the strong side. And in the game, they run the exact same formation, exact same play, and he goes to the strong side." And Brady says, "I've never seen anything like it." He had no idea how Ed Reed knew what he knew. He said, I think Tom Brady said it was the highest IQ defender he's ever played against, Ed Reed. So
Yeah, that's high praise.
Yeah.
high praise, especially a guy who's got to play him probably once a year, once every 2 years, something like that. But
Sometimes more because they'd meet the playoffs.
Yeah.
sometimes more. Yeah, Ravens were good. Patriots were good. Yeah. All right. Good job, everybody. Any closing comments, concerns, questions?
No, sir.
I think I'm good.
Well, it is a podcast. Good job, everybody. Till next time.